No, it's not. There's nothing wrong here.
Is it working?
Yes. Yes, we're good. Now let me just turn this on.
It's a work session.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, everybody stand. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're social distancing, so folks are welcome to remove their mask. We have made accommodations for individuals this evening to join us for our meeting. We're going to start our work session at 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Michael Cash.
Present.
Thomas Wood. Meg LaFave.
Here.
Barbara Hebert.
Here.
Charles Costick. Here. James J. Coffey.
Here.
And I am present.
See no one here for public comment this evening, so we'll just move directly on to the supervisor's update and report. As I've noted, just kind of giving you a continued update for COVID response. We continue to adhere to the double cleaning protocol and using the resources of the city guards, the clerk's office, and the walk-up windows and stuff. Things are working, I would say, extremely well. The contact tracing book, etc. People have been very good to adhere to the requirements that we have. So I want to thank the public for that as well when they come to visit Town Hall. I do want to jump into another topic, and that is that a number of weeks ago, the town board made a very strong statement as it relates to racism, and that we had an incident in the town where a young black woman was chased and had really just vitriolic hatred directed at her. And then most recently, over the weekend, a resident came forward that her kids identified some racist graffiti in the Katyville Park. I want to publicly, first and foremost, thank her for coming forward. We need people to see something and then say something. That's how we're able to address some of this stuff. I personally feel like we will continue and must continue to cast sunlight on the darkness that's out there so people understand what's going on. It is not to identify us as a racist community, but there is racism in our community, like every other community. And the way that we can address some of that stuff is to be knowledgeable of the situation. Also want to thank Mel Defiant, in particular, our rec director, for engaging with the resident and having a good conversation, getting the information that we needed so that it could be then addressed by the Building and Grounds Department. Just so you know, where it was on a metal surface, so it had to take, there was two approaches that needed. One was kind of a wipe down clean, but then the metal itself had to be sanded so that the paint would really adhere to it. So it wasn't just a quick, once over. So it was kind of a two-step process. So I want to thank the Building and Grounds Department. The situation as it unfolded, and I was planning on bringing this up tonight during our work session, was as a follow-up for our statement, because we all noted that we don't want just statements to be statements. We want to continue to put forward actions and to continue to adopt policies and procedures and do things that are of a tangible, proactive measurement. So I want to give you an update. Many of you know I've been involved in a group called LINK, which is the Listening Inclusion in the North Country Coalition. This group was, again, created as a partial response, but not a complete response to a lot of the activity that was occurring over at SUNY Plattsburgh the last couple of years. And that coalition has members of police departments, it has elected officials, it has community officials, it has subject experts in a wide variety of areas. And the group has held a couple of events, one of them being what's called the People Supper. And what the People Supper is, we're individuals are invited to actually engage in a dinner, and it was with students, and it was facilitated in a way to have some difficult conversations with people that you may or may not typically eat with. So Linked has been, something that many people have been involved with, and the goal and expectation was to have it be kind of at a much more elevated level. COVID-19, like many things, right, kind of dampened that group's ability to be more, do public outreach. The students left the semester early, so there was just a number of things that were kind of in the works. I called Ken Kennelly, who works in the president's office over at SUNY Plattsburgh, who kind of serves as co-chair with John Bernardi for this group, and I requested that we meet last week because I was concerned that the two of the most recent incidents were very local, and we needed to have a conversation. One of them being on the Brown Road in the town, and then the other one being in Saranac Lake. And Nikki, who serves on Link with us. I mean, she's a member of our coalition. So I know we were very concerned about doing some check-in with her, but also just, so I know I'm rambling a little bit here. It's not meant to be. The reason I'm focusing so much on this is the Adirondack Diversity Initiative is a group by which I see us taking more opportunities to work with in the future. And I really appreciated Nikki putting something forward to us as a Link group and saying that internally you have to work on yourselves before you can kind of sometimes lift your community. And I'm not capturing it exactly, but it goes back to the conversation of what we've been talking about. We can't heal everything within our community, but we can continue to advance efforts here at Town Hall with our employees. And I know that we're committed to that. That means that we need to come up with some methods and some paths forward. I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about that. I did want to make a couple of recommendations and see what your thoughts and opinions were on it. I've talked with Barb, I've talked with Chuck, you and I may have talked a little, talked with Tom. Trainings are certainly one path forward for our employees, be it anti-racism, be it bias training. There are a lot of resources out there that we need to identify. COVID is a hurdle, but it should not be a wall. And I just put that out there knowing that we're kind of working through a lot of things right now. And I want to report back to our team members tomorrow or Monday about some kind of things that we're going to work on. It may not be fully fleshed out. So I would like to recommend that we have kind of an internal committee of sorts. It can be ad hoc if we don't need resolutions, so that's the first thing that I wanted to toss out there. Something that I would also like to recommend is I think that our town, and I've thought this for a while, should adopt a mission, vision, value statement. I believe that it will be a powerful tool, and in the toolbox, among other things, that will be displayed here at Town Hall. It will be something that's in the back shops. It communicates to our residents, our visitors, and us alike. And I think it also helps when we're having difficult conversations to have a guiding document. I've been working on a draft, not that it is an end all and be all. So I'm going to get that out to you, just to kind of incubate the conversation.
Those things, Chuck, I don't know if you've ever been a part of those or are in the corporate world, but like having the input and doing some sticker boards and getting some words flowing that are meaningful to our team is a really good way to start.
Absolutely, there has to be I'm going to use a wider word for community buy-in so that they can present that exactly. What I'm going to present is just a framework of thinking for us to begin engaging our employees and then being more inclusive with them, absolutely. And one of the things that I want to share with you, if I took a snapshot of it, I apologize. that, I've been, obviously, I've been down at the health department a lot lately, with a number of meetings, and some of the items that they've been using in some of their kind of work groups is professionalism, be respectful, good listener, composed, accountable, role model, supportive, rational, diplomatic, competent. And then they have the basics of the basic principles. Focus on the situation, the issue, behavior, not the person. Maintain self-confidence and self-esteem of others. Maintain constructive relationships with employees, peers, and managers. Take initiative to make things better and lead by example. So again, not the full version of the mission vision, but kind of a document to get people maybe thinking of how they can contribute.
We may want to also think that, I think the mission value is a great start, but I think we discussed that sometimes, trigger words, and I think that's one from Meg, is that I think we talked about core values, so, I understand, mission statement, vision, but maybe core values.
Oh, yeah,
Those
no,
kind of,
yeah.
they stem off of each other.
Yeah.
That we-
Absolutely.
That we practice, we try to certainly practice, and make sure we do. That's something that I came across, Meg, with some of my experiences.
You can even have like follow-up workshops
Yep.
to it to see how you're implementing it.
No,
Throughout the day.
I agree. So, before we kind of move,
Well, I'd like to add a couple of things to that.
well, yeah, I wanted to just, I want to say, I'm going to shut up and just open it to the floor, so I'll toss it to you.
I don't know if you guys saw the email, I just replied to the email real quick saying, I think just for starters, we could get a book at the Katyville Storybook Trail about
Mhm.
diversity.
Yep.
Something out there. That was an idea of Amanda Allen, she's my neighbor. She's also the executive director of NAMI. And,
Right.
Something, Michael, you said how we can't solve everything. And I've been reading so much and listening to podcasts. I listened to a Brookings Institute webinar last night about how to upend systemic racism. And
That's the first.
hopefully they'll go back out.
Yeah.
But they're saying you can't solve everything. So focus on what you can do. And so I've just been trying to have a lot of conversations with people about this difficult issue.
Let me shut the lights on, see if it'll go out that way. Okay.
Close. It's 10 o'clock.
Oh, there it goes.
Good.
It's actually happened a couple of times, that's why I was, at first started on, I was like, yeah, we'll find a way.
And then,
And for those that were at home that didn't see it, we had a bird flying around. They're probably all looking at us going, what's going on?
Very nice,
and then it comes back up.
Yeah. So,
And then, I don't know if you have seen Amy Guglielmo in the city has a new outside art project highlighting the diversity in our community. And I reached out to her to see if we could somehow expand that uptown and into the hamlets of the town. So I have a call with her tomorrow at 11:30
great.
to share ideas and get her ideas, see if we can get that moving. And I'm meeting with Dina McCullough next week. Dina's been facilitating conversations about racism in our community for
Yep.
years.
She's on link, by the way.
Yes,
just so-
she is.
yeah.
And she sent me a bunch of local resources, including the SUNY Plattsburgh website that you
Yeah.
sent today. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really good stuff
Yeah.
on there.
So, just again, to make a statement about the link, so one of the things that group is gonna try to do is become a link, like a clearinghouse, knowing that it can't be everything to everyone, but if we can generate a location where people can submit materials and resources and stuff that people can draw from, be it a business, be it a nonprofit organization, be it government, be it an organization, like, local scouts, if they wanted to do something and they needed some material, so, perfect.
Yeah, that link already is, or it has, like, what to say, what to do, what to read. It's answering, I think a lot of us are just at a loss right now, and it's answering a lot of those questions. Because we want to do something.
Again, just open conversation,
Well, as we discussed earlier, Michael, when we spoke, I agree completely with the ad hoc committee. Think we need to try to build something within the team that we have here at the town. I think that that's a great place for us to start. This is the team that we have within the town of Plattsburgh. And I think, if anything, and I had offered to Michael to be on that committee, I'm probably maybe the least averse of the group when you get down to it, but I really feel that it would pull me out of a comfort zone, and I think it would be good for me. So I would like to be on that committee, and I would like to see how we could open that up to the rest of the members of the team.
Well, that's a good first step, Chuck, is that I think, we talked about this the night that we introduced our statement, and I think I made a comment that we have to start becoming more comfortable with some of our discussions, and we all can do that, so I think the fact that you even said that is fine, and I could think of someone who could certainly be on that committee to do. No more than it would be, kind of a default to say, well, Laura, would you like to be on that committee? And I would serve on that committee, not because I'm a, team member that is a person of color, but because I care about our internal organization, so, like I said, I think we're gonna need to have some uncomfortable decisions, and I don't think positive disruption is a bad thing, and, I hope I can introduce that.
I'm having a mind block. I think it was Representative Lewis that just passed recently, and his phrase was "good trouble."
Good trouble. Yeah.
And, you know, that's, you know, leading into some good trouble, and, so one of the things that I do wanna try to, it doesn't have to be overly, defined at the moment, to our team members, and I know Chuck has kind of leaned forward, which I very much appreciate, and Meg, thank you for the update on the art and the storybook. I think those both things are great. Do we want to form an ad hoc committee? We do need to keep one thing in mind, is that we all can't participate from that, you know, from that perspective, and with limitations and such. And are there two representatives from this board that want to kind of lean into a leadership role that I can identify to, you know, I'll send out an email to the team members tomorrow or Monday and say, you know, more information will be coming. So, thoughts, opinions, feelings?
Well, I would happily too, I know you just said you would. Hopefully we can all contribute or work one way on the committee.
Yeah, I would look at it that way, so, you know.
Maybe we can have conversations between
Rotate it, you could.
Yeah.
I just use the model that anything's possible, anything radical is possible, so Meg and Chuck and I'm willing to be
Okay.
right here.
So we'll do some follow-up then,
Yeah.
so.
And what's the thought, we're gonna throw it out to the team to see what the interest may be?
Yeah, I think we need to check the dashboards, as they say.
Yeah.
And I would also, like to put out, you know, I think we need some definition of what we're committing to as far as resource of time. Certainly we can bring some of our, you know, our employees or team members involved. Is it, you know, 1 hour a week? Are we doing, you know, a meeting once a month? Kind of like our, you know, our other committees that we have, the
Yeah.
safety committee and stuff. But just give it a little bit of a definition, and people can do, you know, their own external reviews, and people, I think, will find a great interest to contribute. But just giving it a little bit of a body so that we know what we're talking about. And then what we can do is, I would maybe even suggest once a month during one of our work sessions, we do a check-in. You know, just so we can do hey, where are we, and I think we've been doing better with our committees to kind of say, okay, where are we with water sewer, where are we with, and just, because it's an ad hoc, not to put it as a second rate, but just put it as an item that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but we know that, okay, the second work session of the month is when we're gonna dedicate, you know, some time, so we know that it's approaching, if that makes sense.
And Meg and Chuck, I think what I want to understand is that I think I want to take an active role. What I'm going to do is be someone who is going to do outreach and engagement in our community while this committee is doing this. I think, so I just want you to know kind of what I'd like to do.
It would be good to break out of our mold of our committee pairs Oh, yeah, not that I don't love.
I think Michael and I might have discussed that. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I never thought of it that way.
That we are kind of, if you look, we are kind of split, and it's almost like Meg and Chuck have this group.
And Tom and
Tom
Barbara.
Barb have this
Yeah, it's
group.
true. It's just
I
by,
think probably by nothing other than default.
it's default, it wasn't by design.
I think, you know, let this percolate for
Yeah.
a couple of days.
Yeah.
And if you're all comfortable in doing this, is I will send an email either tomorrow or Monday, to our team members saying that, you know, that within a week's time approximately, some more information will be coming out, but that the town is committed to an ad hoc committee that engages, both the elected officials and team members will have an opportunity. We certainly can't have a committee of 20 people, but, you know, people that volunteer and, there might be subcategories of things. The question that I have, and I don't know what the answer to this is, so I'm kind of doing this a little bit off the cuff. Is there a potential interest in seeing if there could be an additional member of Link? Does anybody have, if I could, so the way that Link is structured, I think is probably more important, is there's a steering committee, and I'm one of the members of the steering committee, and then I think Link is trying to kind of grow that second level within the group. It's very similar to what Spark is doing. So if one of you has an interest in getting involved in that particular coalition, let me know, and I might be able to see if we can have an expanded seat at the table. So that might be another way to identify opportunities and resources and stuff, because I don't think we want to speak into the echo chamber of ourselves. I think we need to draw in some outside perspectives on things. So, that's all I got. Anything else in that particular area? So, all right. Draft resolutions, not too much going on there. Minutes, if Tom was here, a site plan return, twin state agreement, and then, just a reminder, we don't have a meeting next week. It's the fifth Thursday. And then I do want to thank Meg publicly for chairing the meeting last week. I heard it went well. I heard it was a short meeting.
Quick one.
Very efficient.
And
Concise.
I do really appreciate it because I was on again, off again. My wife's aunt passed away, and she was like a second mom to Olivia, so it was sad. It certainly, again, COVID is changing the whole way we do things, and so thank you. Any committee reports, anything that people want to provide for committees?
Yeah, just, I know colleagues received the information that Tom and I sent out, so
Yeah.
feel free to, and again, that has to do with moving forward with, you know, planning board appointments, zoning board of appeal appointments, but really taking a very holistic approach to this, deep dive into process, into corrective actions, and if there's some appointments that need to be.
Thank you guys for diving in so deeply and pulling that together.
Government's about rolling your sleeves up, I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just an offshoot of that, the spreadsheet that you created
Yeah.
is really helpful. And I think we should create one for the applications.
Yes,
And
I
I stole the applications, I don't know if you know that I walked off with them,
Yeah.
and I still have them.
You didn't bring back.
Because I'm going to create a spreadsheet, and I know that you're good with spreadsheets.
No,
You are.
that's okay.
But just to pop in the info when it comes in, so that we can all have access to it, without having to walk out the door with the physical applications.
Anything else for committees?
Recreation, that could be now there, everything's moving forward, they're really doing exceptionally well with the programs that they're able to do, meaning the outdoor programs where they're able to maintain proper social distancing and stuff. The response has been great, and I think the one thing maybe to plant a seed, to think about it, I don't think it would be a decision that would be made until next year, but as you're driving by the Katyville Beach, think about that being used as a waterfront park now versus swimming, et cetera.
So really, keeping what we're doing now into the future.
Potentially doing that going forward. Mal's gonna work up some numbers as to what the actual number of beach attendees were over the past years. But that facility has been very exceptionally well used, I would think, this year, even though we have not offered swimming or swimming lessons. I
I've
don't,
gone by and it is well used.
I don't think there's any less use in that area,
Yeah.
because we
Perfect
aren't.
area too, just great for that, water park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe we should look at, I don't know, what we should do down the road with that, but I would plant that seed to maybe start thinking about that. If we don't do swimming there, you know, maybe some of the funds that we use for lifeguards, et cetera, could be put into additional picnic tables or grills or something of that nature, and really make it a true waterfront park.
Well, there are plans there for the local waterfront redevelopment
Yeah.
stuff that we did several years ago, so we could revisit what those plans were for that. And it's probably similar to what's happening, we really haven't invested anything in it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, and it will be an opportunity, we discussed that too, if we wanted to offer swim lessons, we'd be able to come up with some sort of agreement with the town of Saranac. And still maintain that opportunity to have swim lessons, it would just be, you know, pick its corners instead of in Katie.
Anything else for committees? Seeing nothing further with committees, I am going to seek a opportunity to go into an executive session to talk about the specific work history of 5 individuals. Is there a motion to the effect?
So moved.
Ebert, is there a is there a second?
Second.
Dave. I don't have a spot on my thing here, so I'll just do the roll call. I'm a yes. Meg, are you a yes?
Yes.
Barbara, you a yes?
Yes.
Chuck?
Yes.
Okay. We will go into executive session at 6:27, no formal action to be taken. And I'll give Kevin a chance to shut the recorder off, and I'm gonna go pull the signs from outside the new building and shut the door, right?